guys, this is Amplitude. Not gonna lie, it's a pretty tricky one, and it might take some time to fully master this flourish, but if you like what you see, then with the proper amount of practice, I'm sure you'll be able to get it. So with that being said, let's check it out. Hey guys, so today we'll be learning Amplitude, one of my trickier flourishes to get down. So apologies in advance if I mess up at times during the teaching of this flourish, but I trust you'll be able to get down this flourish with sufficient practice. But first, let's take a look at the slow motion overview. So that's Amplitude. Now let's get started. Alright, so let's get you started with learning this flourish. So first, let's learn the opener. So the opener will start very basically in a Z grip, but you want to make sure that the top two packets of the Z grip are thick enough to be split into two packets. So both the top packet and the middle packet will be split into half during the course of this flourish. So I find it as well easier if these packets are not too thick, the half packets, because then you'll have trouble balancing those packets later on. So try to keep perhaps this top packet and the middle packet somewhere slightly less than a third of the deck each. So yeah, so sufficient, but of course play around with this flourish to get a feel for it, to know how much you want to split off. So just make sure for now that at the very least both the top packet and the middle packet can be split into two packets each. Alright, so after opening into Z grip, the thumb of the dealer's grip hand is going to come to the back of the middle packet and split off a packet just like this. And this packet will be supported by the index finger and the thumb of the dealer's grip hand. And at the same time or afterwards, depending on how you want to coordinate this opener, which I'll explain later, you're going to do a one card push off with your index finger. It's going to push off that card like that. Oops, got another card slipping around. Like that. So if you want me to explain that very basically to you, basically the top packet will be held in middle grip. Your index finger is going to come to the top face of the packet, somewhere maybe in the midpoint of the midpoint and the top. And it's going to push off a card, pivoting around the middle finger at the front edge of the packet. So if you know Flirt by Dan and Dave, it's a very intuitive motion as well. So just like that. So once again, like this, and then like this. And then after that, the thumb of this packet is gonna push that packet back. Actually, the index finger of your non-dealer's grip hand is doing most of the work. The thumb is just there in order to hold the packet, because I can't bring the packet down on its own. So the thumb is going to be here, so the packet can rotate back down, and it's going to be square with that packet. So you're basically back where you started, but I think that tends to add a little bit of flair to the flourish. So once again, just like that. And then what's going to happen now is the thumb of the dealer's grip hand is going to come to the back of the top packet, and using your middle finger to support the front edge of the top packet, you're going to then bring your middle finger down to your thumb, and it's now going to be resting in contact with your thumb. So now all of these fingers are free, and you're left in some kind of triangle configuration. Alright, so you just learned the opener for Amplitude. Yes, I did change clothes. But before we proceed into the next phase of the flourish itself, let's first go over the coordination of the opener, because there are two different ways, the way I see it, in order to coordinate the opener. So the opener looks like this. There are two ways to do that initial opener part. So the first way looks like this, when you do the one card push off and splitting the middle packet at the same time. So when you open up, you get kind of a worm-like motion, if you know The Worm by Dan and Dave. So this is what the first variation will look like. Something like that. The second version is to, after a Z grip, you split off that packet first, you extend it, and then you bring it back just to do the one card opener. And then after that, after you've kind of extended that a bit more, then you proceed with squaring that card back up. So the second one looks like this. So in my opinion, both look fine, but pick and choose whichever variation of the coordination you prefer. So yeah, with that being done, let's go into the next phase. Alright, so we've just moved beyond the opener. So this is where you would be at now, in this weird kind of triangle configuration of the packets. So now, what you want to do is, using your non-dealer's grip hand, you're going to split off another packet from this packet. So, just like so. And then, and this is the phase of the flourish where the flourish actually gets its name, you're going to execute a pendulum kind of motion. So first, your thumb is actually in contact with the back edge of this packet as well. So what you're going to do is your ring finger of the dealer's grip hand is going to come to this edge of this packet. And then, now that this packet is supported between your thumb and your ring finger of the dealer's grip hand, you can use the thumb of the non-dealer's grip hand. Oops, the clock just went off. But with your non-dealer's grip hand, you can clear this packet from underneath this packet. So it was previously here, but you can now move it out. So just in case this packet is obscuring your view, imagine I had a packet here, but basically what's happening is this. So with the packet, it would just look like that. And then, right after you go out, you come back, the thumb once again contacts this packet, and then, remembering you have a bottom packet in your dealer's grip hand, that bottom packet is going to go underneath, directly underneath this packet, because this packet is now going to fall into that bottom packet after this next motion. So now you're going to drag this packet away, and this packet now falls down onto that bottom packet. This packet is now sandwiched between this packet and the bottom packet. So if you can see, it's actually sandwiched between two packets. So once again, after you're here, you go out here, and then in case this packet is obscuring your view again, I'll just put it down for now. You're just gonna bring that packet out, and now this packet is sandwiched between these two packets, the bottom packet and this packet that you just cleared. So yep, so that's the pendulum motion. And a quick tip on the style of the flourish itself in this phase, you want to try to extend these packets as they're clearing each other as far out as possible. So it goes all the way out, goes all the way back. Alright, so that's actually where the flourish gets its name, amplitude. If you study waves, amplitude is actually the maximum displacement of a wave. So try to get a maximum displacement while you're doing that pendulum back and forth motion. It might be tricky at first when you're still learning the mechanics of the motion, but for now, just focus on getting the packets to clear each other and and keeping all the packets together and not letting them fall, etc. So now you're in this position with this packet sandwiched between these two packets. Now your ring finger of the non-dealer's grip hand is going to contact this edge of the packet that is sandwiched. And borrowing from motion in Sybil, what you want to do is, using your ring finger and your pinky finger, you're going to just briefly clip this packet. And now you can see that it's no longer sandwiched. You've cleared it. And then you're going to rotate that packet using your ring finger and your index finger to support that packet. So it will end up eventually on the bottom packet. but that motion is a bit complicated, so let's go over it again. So after the pendulum-like motion, what you want to make sure when you're doing this motion is that this packet must be held by the index finger over here, at least around probably the middle point of the deck, of this packet, of the edge. So if your index finger is, for example, all the way at the edge here, you won't be able to make the rotation happen because it'll just slip out of your fingers. So it's best to keep the index finger somewhere around the midpoint. So the ring finger goes here, and let's just put these packets down just to show you what the actual motion looks like. You're gonna strip out that packet underneath those two packets, and then to stabilize that motion, you're gonna clip that packet in between your ring finger and pinky finger as well. And then once you've stabilized that motion, you don't need those two fingers clipping them anymore, and they just go to the bottom, just like that. So just to recap, the opener, and then this pendulum motion, and finally, this is where you will be at. So with that being done, let's proceed into the next phase. Alright, so now we're in the final phase of the flourish. So we've just learned the opener, this pendulum-like motion. Now we're here in a weird kind of Z grip where instead of this edge being here, it's here. So now what you want to do is, this is actually probably one of the simpler parts of the flourish. You just want to make this packet go on top of this packet. Just like so, very simple. But in the motion of that, you're going to do this, and at the same time your index finger is going to come to your thumb, and it's going to be here now. So now you're in this configuration. And at the same time, the thumb of your dealer's grip hand is going to contact the middle packet. Well, this packet was the top packet, but now that it's on top now, it's now the middle packet. And at the same time, the index finger of your non-dealer's grip hand is going to come to the front edge of the now top packet, which was the middle packet. So now the packets will be supported with these fingers. So once again, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You're here, just like this. That's the first exchange, the second exchange. Alright, pretty straightforward. And now you're going to put the bottom packet in straddle grip. So if you don't know what straddle grip is, it's basically just your pinky finger and your index finger are at the sides. So you can now support the deck and you know, it's in a stable grip now. So this is where you are at now. Now you're going to execute this very simple display, I suppose you could call it. So after all those exchanges, you're basically already in position to do the display. All you need to do is this packet is going to face up, and this packet that's in straddle grip is going to face down. So just like that. Alright, so you can put a little motion into this part if you want. Experiment, of course, with your own style. Try to figure out a good flow to the flourish. But usually I just go all the way out like that. And then to just close everything up, this is, I guess, slightly tricky. You're going to use your ring finger while you're going to support this packet with, you can use your dealer's grip hand to support this packet while this motion plays out. Your ring finger is going to come clip that packet just at the back edge, just like that. And then your fingers are just going to flip it over, just like that. And at the same time, this packet just kind of plops on top of it. So it doesn't look as good in slow motion, but those are the mechanics. So after this, usually I like to use my dealer's grip fingers to support the bottom face of this packet while I'm clipping it. And then it just flips around my thumb and plops on top as well. So I'll try to do it at full speed for you. Oops, messed up there. Let's try again. I'm so bad at cardistry actually. There you go. So that's what it looks like basically. So I guess the main tricky part for this part will be clipping this packet and bringing it around. But after a while, that should be pretty simple as well. So there you have it. You've just learned Amplitude. I hope you've had fun with it. I certainly have. And yeah, keep shuffling cards.